Hey guys, how are y'all doing with this whole bunch of Aries energy? Gotta say, I feel great. I feel rejuvenated. I feel it's like a very big kickstart. Mars finally went in its home sign of Aries since the 9th of April. And I gotta say, I'm so glad that it's out of Pisces. That just was like very, this whole, like our energy is, of course, Mars. Sometimes I need to rewind in my mind so that I do not go too fast by explaining everything because Aries, this is like full force ahead, and sometimes it tends to skip some steps in the process because it's so focused on the finish line. It is so focused on like getting ahead, being the first, winning, sometimes at all costs. That is a little bit more of the unhealthy energy of Aries. But overall, let me know how you guys are feeling. I feel so much better. This whole Mars and Pisces stuff, like, of course, I am an Aries, my ruling planet in Pisces. It was just a little bit much. And now a lot of people would think that it would become like too much now with Mars and its home sign, but it likes to be there. It operates very well there. Unfortunately, for some people, they're not able to take the heat. But overall, this is really about getting unstuck, feeling this forward momentum building. Mars in Pisces was just a little bit lost in space. And now it has like a new mission. It is about pioneering, about adventuring, about like just taking your backpack and going out, heading out first, just going out and about and doing your own thing. A lot of people are currently tuned into the more difficult Aries energy. I see a lot of astrologers and other people talking about how this is going to unleash massive chaos. And although it can, definitely, it is the warrior. But still, it's not because on a global stage everything takes it up a notch that we need to get that little throw out of center. No. Mars and Aries, it is really about looking at yourself. Where are you directing your fire? We've got this new moon coming up. Of course, this whole video is about the new moon, but it's very important to notice or like to mention that the ruler of Aries, Mars, is co-present within the sign of Aries right now as well, really giving an extra energetic boost to this whole new moon. And of course, we just entered a new astrological year that really got kicked off on the 20th of March during the equinox and whenever the sun entered into the sign of Aries. But also worth to mention is that we are in a numerologic year of one, so in a 1 year. And this is now the first new moon of this new astrological year, year of one. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. So, yeah, it's like a whole new beginning. And I am excited, you guys. Woo! I feel like a lot of people really needed this energy. And although some people are going to fight the battle of their lifetime, maybe even within themselves, that is very possible. Aries is about like battling. And yes, in the lower manifestation, it is about conflict. But I feel like a lot of people's like sacred anger is coming up, and that can be used in a very beneficial, healthy kind of way. Now, unfortunately, over the weekend, we saw a Mars conjuncting with Neptune, and dear Lord, I saw so many people really projecting the very things that they are actually guilty of themselves. Even someone walked inside of my home actually a couple of days ago, starting to complain and gossip and pointing fingers. And I was just like sitting on on the sofa, and I was like observing and listening. And I was like, oh, wow. Like everything you're mentioning right now, all of the things that you're being triggered about, you actually did the very same thing yourself. And I was like, this is scary. And this is, well, it's not scary, but it's scary the fact that people are so unaware of it themselves. And that is like, wow, how is it like even possible? And they didn't know whether to start laughing or to start crying because I'm like, this is so messed up. Yeah, Mars on Neptune, it really exposed a lot of people not being able to get into touch with their own darker side. And I feel like the dark side of people is getting massively exposed right now. It's very easy to notice. If you see people pointing fingers, if you see people going absolutely bananas in regards to their anger, if you feel that they're like needing to fight to exist, that is the more unhealthy energy of Aries. A balanced Aries, it's not gonna put up a fight. It's like a real evolved, balanced Aries. It doesn't fight for the right to exist. It just simply is. Whenever it gets attacked, though, yeah, then they can like literally burn your house down. I'm not making this prettier than it actually is, but still, it's really about embodiment. It's about our own identity. It's about being unapologetically ourselves. And I do see people struggling a lot with that. And I think it's good that a lot of the anger comes up because people really suppress so much in order to keep the peace. Um, Sometimes it is necessary to disturb the peace in order to really be able to get to peace. If we constantly shut up and it all just piles up, then it becomes like a volcano that just like simply erupts. And that is not the whole point. And that is also actually the essence of what Mars and Aries is now going to try to teach us. Because for those of you who do not know or are not so into the astrology, Saturn is actually also in Aries right now. It got out of Pisces into Aries, and people who are now gonna be very explosive with their anger are gonna start, if they start conflicts just for the sake of it, or because they have been suppressing their anger for way too long, if they're gonna be too impulsive, too chaotic, too like just stirring up trouble for the sake of the chaos, those people are gonna get like a very big karmic retribution or repercussion, whatever you want to call it. But Mars will conjunct Saturn on the 19th, but the energy is already building up right now. It's already very present. So Mars got over Neptune, so it's now at the other side of it. It's now like it's becoming way more clear where we have to really look at our own issues, where we can no longer point fingers without really turning the finger at ourselves. We all have our good and bad sides. We all have like a villain and an angel living within inside of ourselves, and sometimes the villain gets triggered. And Mars on Neptune, that made it like very very clear who's not being able to come into touch with their inner villain. And this is such a big period of exposure and of really people having to face the more malicious side of themselves. And I think we all just need to breathe, do some fire breaths. If you feel like anger is coming up, it is coming out right now, but I think it's positive. And some of you might think like you're so crazy, and maybe I am. I just like think different about a lot of the normal conditioning of society. Um we cannot always keep silent for like maintaining peace and harmony. Real harmony is achieved when we are being able to really stand up for ourselves, speak up for ourselves. Aries is this the warrior, and with it being conjuncted to Neptune, we saw people tapping into the lower manifestations and pointing fingers, but others were really able to channel the spiritual warrior archetype and maybe even fighting for the underdog, or for those who do not feel seen and heard, or those who tend to be forgotten, or those who are having struggles to integrate or being fully integrated within this effed up society. A lot of the energy is changing, and I can feel it so immensely. I can feel like things are falling or starting to fall into place. I feel like it's only now that this whole new year of number one is getting kicked off, And I feel like the last couple of months were such a big shedding and detox of so much toxicity within our lives. And I feel like we all had the time to really recalibrate with this Mercury retrograde that is now also out of post shadow phase, which is also very, very positive. And I feel like now we finally can get things moving again. And we feel like we have more fire and more energy to really go after the things that we like and what we desire and what we are like willing to fight for. And it's very important to just know that whenever someone triggers you with their like spiritual bypass or within their projecting things onto you, it's important to just observe, take a step back, and be the one who just like looks at things from a mature perspective. Mars will conjunct Saturn here in the next couple of days. If you have been behaving immature, if you have been pointing fingers without looking under your own hood, then you might get a punishment. However, if you are being accountable and if you also look at why you are reacting to certain stuff in such a dramatic or intense kind of way, then you can actually get a very big reward of Saturn. Everyone is always talking about Jupiter, the great benefic, and Venus, and yes, that is all beautiful and bountiful, and Jupiter is also about protection, but it's only the grand master Saturn that is gonna give you those long-term big rewards that feel so fulfilling. Like whenever Venus makes a transit, yes, you can enjoy, you can have a windfall of money, but it's only when you behave disciplined, mature, honest, that Saturn then like grants you the rewards. And that's also why I love Capricorn so much, because they really embody that energy. But when Saturn says you passed the test, that is something to really celebrate. And that is going to come up now in the next couple of days. I see a lot of people freaking out about it. I see a lot of actually even other astrologers being really very fearful about it. And although we can have new mandates and we can have measures that are going to restrict this in some kind of sense again, that is very possible. But it is just one big play. It is such a big play that is going on right now. And I also saw that, for example, because I'm now thinking about the play, Melania came out, our you guys' first lady, talking about how she's not connected to the files, and apparently she did that behind President Donald Trump's back, and everyone is like eating popcorn and enjoying the drama. And I'm like, you guys, do you really believe that she went behind his back? It's actually very naive to think that. And yeah, Trump has been calling out a lot of the people who actually supported him and endorsed him. Look what's behind all of that. He's making himself appear weak, appear crazy. I am aware of that. And I also think that that is how he looks. He looks like he lost it. A lot of people are really freaking out about it, being very angry about it. If you are angry, then they are being able to harvest your energy. I think it's a massive waste of your beautiful sacred fire to be angry at certain people who are actually positioning themselves in this very matter. It is the whole point of them behaving in this specific matter. There's a whole reason behind it. It's also actually a military, psychological, like a war tactic and all of that. Like people are getting so lost and getting so caught up in the drama, and it's something that we cannot do anymore. We cannot make our souls guilty of that anymore. It's like, do not get so lost in the whole dramatic world theatrics, because what do you gain by it? Instead of swiping on X all of the time, reading the news, like reading the news is actually a false form of control. And if you're constantly engaging in these negative, repeating news cycles, you get so drained by it. And there's so much more going on than meets the eyes. And sense of control, it is not helping. We need to look through or behind or past the veil. We cannot, like, they harvest energy. That is very, very clear. And they can do that by, there are two sides always. There's always a polarity. We live in a world of duality. It is what it is. We have light, darkness, we have day, night, hot, cold. If we adore certain people, then that is a very big way of harvesting the energy. But they gain so much more when we become mad. And I know some people are going to disagree with, like, Astrid, we need to get mad in order for something to change. It's pretty clear that we need to make the change within ourselves and within our own lives. It's only when we do the change ourselves within our own lives that then ripples out and creates changes on, like, this deeper or higher level. As long as we're getting lost in, like, you did this and look what he's doing now, and we do not progress, we cannot, like, go forward, then that is, like, not possible. So if you guys are struggling with all of the Martian energy, I really invite you very strongly to look within, to reconnect with your fire. Let it, like, reignite, but in a healthy way. Look at what you can do. Look at what you can change. Everything you change within yourselves is going to create a massive ripple outwards. It's only as long as we keep projecting outwards on world leaders actually really trigger a lot of people's, like, parental wounds, like things they inherited from their family. Like, Trump is triggering a lot of people's father wound. He is playing his role within, like, the world theater. Donald Trump has Uranus on the sun. His life mission here is to create instability, disruption, change, and with that comes renewal and innovation. He's embodying his role, and there's more behind it. And I'm not saying what he's doing is good or bad. There are good and bads and everything. So we really need to stop being so mad. All the energy that we lose of being mad on our family members, our world leaders, if we can, like, redirect that energy in doing things that are going to be beneficial for ourselves and are going to get us out of this anger, that is then really helping us moving forward. This is about forward momentum. And I think a lot of people are waking up to the fact that constantly getting lost in this world drama and this whole clown show, it is not going to help us. Like, for example, when Donald Trump really posted, when he posted that picture of Jesus, that got people so mad. It's the whole point. Mars is in Aries. There is, like, a lot of ruffles, like, being like, and then people who are, like, sticking up for the Pope, other people are defending Trump, and it's just like another polarity that they create. Divide and conquer. It's been such an ancient textbook tactic. People still fall for it. I cannot believe it. It's like, actually, both sides have some work to do. The Pope and also President Donald Trump. So Do not let whatever happens right now on the world stage divide us like even further. We need to unite. We need to drop our anger, or we need to tap into our anger and really redirect it into something beneficial for ourselves. It doesn't help with being mad at certain people. Um, Spirituality is actually not about pointing fingers. Spirituality is about seeing beneath what's going on and really keep looking under the hood. But first of all, keep looking under your own hood. That is like the biggest priority, honestly. And I feel like some people are getting a little bit lost within that now with the whole Aries Stellium building. What are you giving your power away? Aries is about reclaiming that. Aries is the first spark. It is the creation. It is the fire of, like, it is the creation of life. It is very beautiful, passionate energy that can really birth a lot of new things in our life. So do not let this moment pass by everything that's going on the world stage. Like, there is a macrocosmos, but then we all have our microcosmos within inside of ourselves, and we cannot let the macrocosmos disturb our microcosmos. As long as we keep on letting that interfere with ourselves, we are still not being fully healed within. So all these triggers are actually telling so much about what still needs to be healed within inside of us. And this Aries Stellium is really going to be a very big lesson around that. Now, safe to say that Aries is so passionate. It is creative. It is about our identity. Look in the mirror. Look at where you can change something within your own identity, where certain parts need to go, where you've been suppressing too much anger, where can you redirect your anger, where are you putting your time and energy into, what are you creating of yourself, and what triggers you. What triggers you is something that is trying to teach you what you need to really tap into and heal. So yeah, you're gonna see a lot of people getting very angry over the next couple of days. And let's just invite it in. Let's just accept it. Let's accept the fact that a lot of people are getting fed up with this whole clown show, and let's accept that a lot of people are really waking up to the truth of how we're all getting played like massively, and how they all try to just like get it. They love it when we all fight with one another. And anger is necessary, but only to draw lines. Do not, like, just remember that not every battle is yours to fight, actually. So, with all of that being said, I actually could go on for quite some time, but I'm gonna need to, like, start his presentation. All right. If you guys have any questions, just drop them in the comments. I'll answer them. And also, if you're new here, I want to welcome you in. We are building this beautiful community. If you guys would be so kind to like, share, and subscribe, that really helps the channel grow. And let's just all come into touch with our fiery, feisty Aries energy, and let that just like reignite like these frozen parts within inside of ourselves. We need to walk in the fire. This is a very big initiation through cardinal fire, and I've been waiting for this. I have been scared for this. I have been excited for this. And I think a lot of people are going to feel a little bit intimidated by what's about to come up the next couple of weeks. Just know that it's necessary, and that this is just a very big transitionary moment. It is actually one of the very big key peak periods of 2026. But if we handle it, okay, if we handle it from a mature standpoint, then this can really set us up for like years to come. So let it all just naturally fall into place. let certain things get burned down to the ground. Whatever gets fully burned right now or fully destructed is actually creating new fertile ground where something very beautifully new can be blossomed from. So let it happen. Do not fight it. If you have resistance, push through it. Do not fight the resistance. Invite change. Uranus is at 29 degrees in like the end of Taurus as well. All of the energy is like concentrated within two signs, and that can feel a lot for many people. Also, hold space. When you see that someone is angry, accept that. Give that person like the right to exist and to be angry. If you get triggered by it, then you need to look inside. Anger should be celebrated. It's like the divine raw masculine energy that is burning right now. It's also about like the alpha male and leader and burning things to the ground so something new might emerge. This is actually such a big, beautiful new start, and I'm all here for it. I just feel so much positivity coming in from this after we're getting through this transitionary period, of course. Um, it's gonna be or it's gonna get very hot, and I hope you're gonna be able to like stand the heat, go sit in the sauna, go make a campfire, candle gazing, really work with the element of fire, invite it in, let it just like burn away everything that no longer suits your path. So let's start the presentation. All right, the warrior, the pioneer, the initiator. This is such a rare high impact reset point, you guys. Yeah, it's not only a new moon. We have a massive Aries Stellium, Mars, Saturn, Neptune, Mercury, the Sun, the Moon, Chiron, Aries, Ceres. There is so much in Aries right now. We are being pushed into action. Some of us are going to feel ready, others are not, and are going to be a little bit feisty because of it. But if you felt stuck with the whole Pisces stellium, confused, delayed, exhausted, this new moon is really like the moment where the universe says to you, like, enough waiting, it is time to move. And it's bold, it's confrontational, it can be very big, life changing energy. It demands that we really step into who we want to become. It's about our identity. So yeah, it's not easy energy. We can feel, or later when we look back at this specific moment, we're gonna be like, okay, like this was the moment, or that was the moment when everything shifted. We need to act. We have been dreaming from so many years. Now we need to really take action on our dreams. So of course, a new moon, it has always been the sun and the moon align in the exact same sign, and of course also degree. The sky then gets completely dark. The moon actually becomes invisible, and that is actually very symbolic. It's pure potential and a pure new beginning, definitely within the first sign of the zodiac. So this is really about planting seeds that are going to unfold over the next 6 months of time. Of course, the energy is going to be most present up to 2 to 4 weeks now, fully developing and like growing into a full moon within 6 months of time. But this is really such a big internal reset point within our own identity. There is also like, there is a lot of potential here. This is like, it is such a big energy. And new moons are, of course, always times for putting new intentions or like setting new intentions, reflecting upon our action. But Aries is not so much about reflection. We have been reflecting for so many time. Now it's like go, 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 full force ahead. And of course, the energy of Aries, wow. Very raw, very initiating, very fearless energy. Like, what do you want? How do you go after it? And how are you going to take action upon it right now? Mars, action, drive, passion, willpower. Yeah, impulsivity, aggression, and impatience as well. If it's not handled consciously, it is very big fire energy that wants to act, wants to create, and wants to move forward. So we need to step into our courage. We can take some more risks. We can stop waiting now for the perfect moment and start creating our perfect moment. We need to be willing to really begin right now. So if you look at the chart here, yeah, it is like very initiatory. It is a very big new beginning. It's about independence. It's about leadership. It's about physical energy and drive. We can feel like things are moving and we need to move. And if you're gonna get stuck or if you're unable to move, then it's gonna implode and then you're gonna explode. So it's really also triggering a lot of passion and desire. Aries is about creation. Mars is also about like conquest and like it's also about raw sexuality. All of that is also like being majorly highlighted. And if you're feeling like sexually frustrated, then that is gonna like shift into anger. So yeah, fight it off in the bedroom. That is always like the best possible Mars and Aries, new moon and Aries remedy that I can give you guys. Working out, going to the gym, that is also going to be of major importance to channel this. But this is definitely not a normal new moon with this whole Aries stellium. There is huge amount of energy all like concentrated when in one place. It does create some pressure, honestly. But in the end, this is just a massive fire activation, and action is like getting amplified here. And I'm not saying that it will be easy. With Mars about to conjunct Saturn here, it's actually already conjunct here during this new moon. But it's going to get fully conjunct on the 19th and then on the 20th. During those 2 days, Mercury will also join in the party here. So it is not easy energy, but it can be life changing if you are mature, patient, and take conscious action. Yes, this can set you up for a very big, bold new beginning that is going to change your entire life. Of course, the most impacted signs are, of course, yeah, Aries. There's a whole stellium in your sign, but also like all the cardinal signs. We have Libra, we have Cancer, we have Capricorn. For Libra, it will be opposing. For Capricorn and Cancer, it will square. So yes, these signs are definitely going to feel this a little bit more intensely. So if you are a Cancer, Capricorn, Sun, Moon, or Rising, very, very big activation through a square can be a little bit more difficult to handle consciously, but squares, yes, they are difficult, but difficult moments really do they do tend to set off a whole new cycle or a very big change. Friction creates change, and that can be very positive for those who really want to like restart, redo, or begin something. So do not let the squares scare you. Aries, it is fearless, or like Aries, it does feel fear, but is being able to really like it can hold the fear and do it anyway. So that can be a very difficult, a very important thing to watch for. If you feel fear, then that is actually a positive thing. I always say, like, if I feel fear inside of myself, then that is just like my brain chemicals telling my amygdala that I'm getting out of my comfort zone. And getting out of the comfort zone, that is like where true growth lies. So, yeah, if you feel fear, tap into the fear, do it anyway, and give yourself a pat on the back afterwards. You're gonna be so proud on yourselves. Be the warrior, be the example, be the one who really sets things into motion, be the catalysator, be the one who speaks up, but in an empowered way, not in a childish Aries kind of temper tantrum kind of way, because that is gonna backlash with Saturn. But this is such a big moment to speak up, to embody like the warrior archetype in a very positive kind of way. Can be about very big breakthroughs right now. So do not let that frighten you. Also, if you look at the degrees, it's at 27 degrees. So that is a Gemini degree. We're blending Aries action with the communication of Gemini. That is very important here, because the new moon is not only about action, it's also actually about how we think, speak, how we make decisions, and then how that affects our identity. And Gemini, it can bring some duality. Gemini is about like two sides or two choices, and like many of us are gonna face having to choose between two paths, two very important choices that can really create, and we can be having to choose between two important choices, and we can feel like choosing one is losing the other, and it can be very life determining right now. But yeah, Aries, either way, it's not gonna let you stay stuck. It's pushing you to decide, to act, but also to like align your mind with your actions. Also, no longer hesitate anymore on the things that you already know that you need to do, man. Like, I feel a lot of us are like overthinking, and with all this Pisces energy for so long, we really got like so stuck in the mud. Now, this moon is saying, like, you already know what you need to do. You have all the answers, you have all the fire, you have all the balls, Aries, to do what you need to do. Can be very, very good actually. Act on what you know and do it now. Think about it later, or like the Gemini degree is also like on a more like global level, portraying through like the news. That is going to be pretty wild. It's conjunct Chiron, you guys. And the ruler, of course, I've talked a whole lot about the ruler, but the ruler of Mars, of Aries, is of course Mars, and it's in Aries. That is adding such a big dose of fiery energy into the mix. The energy, it is strong, it is pure, it is fully expressed. It doesn't take no for an answer, it doesn't hesitate, it doesn't take any bullshit. Mars is not going to compromise here. And if you really like run over other people, then Saturn is going to like lock you in some kind of way. So make sure that like the no compromising energy is coming from a place of authentic power, and not a place of trying to dominate other people, because that is not going to end well. Yeah. This is also bringing so much intense motivation, such a powerful urge to act upon something that you need to start, initiate, take back control. All of this becomes quite undeniable. And if you have been putting something off, then now you can feel the fiery courage and instinct and action. It all gets like activated at once. So our inner voice, it says like, go now, don't wait. For many people, it's going to feel like a turning point where hesitation is no longer going to be an option. But this comes with so much responsibility, you guys. Mars is on Saturn. Try to contain your impulsivity, your reactivity, your aggression. This is about intentional action, and we can take charge of our life again. We can feel like we can trust our instincts better. We feel like we finally can move forward with confidence, not because everything is so perfect, no, far from it even, but because we are ready to begin, and our soul is ready to reignite something. And Mars and Aries, oh my God, that is so like unfiltered and direct, and it's like the power at its absolute peak. So make sure that you use it in the right way, you guys. We all feel like things are accelerating rapidly. When things go fast, we slow down. People are going to be so bold, are going to feel an urgent need to shift something. But this is bringing a very strong push towards independence and also self-reliance. And I think that is also one of the biggest reasons why it's such a shit show on the world stage right now. It's been showing us that we actually all need to come together, take care of one another, look at who's leading, look at the intentions behind it, look at how we can become more independent from the system that traps us all, how we can become more self-reliant, how we can trust ourselves too much. Like Saturn in Aries, it is about also doing things for the very first time. And the lesson here is, yes, it can feel scary. Yes, we're going to get blocked by governments, by the hierarchy, by the structure that is collapsing. We are in this transitionary period. But Saturn in Aries is about taking responsibility for ourselves and our own identity and doing things for the very first time and coming into factor, like realizing that we're quite capable of doing things on our own. Like, get yourself solar panels, a backup generator, a community where you grow food in together or food with together. This is about getting untangled from the tyrannical system. We're going to see world leaders behaving absolutely mentally insane with like the Mercury, Mars, Saturn conjunction that is about to income on the 1928. Yeah. It has been teaching us many lessons. And these are lessons that we got initiated into from 2020. And those who have not been learning their lesson are going to get a very big kick in the butt in 2027. Already this year, fully next year, we're going to get like a very big eclipse in January of 2020. Oh no, it was 2028, the eclipse on Pluto, but still. And 2027, Mars is going to go retrograde from Virgo into Leo. That is going to be a very big continuation of the story of the Mars retrograde we saw in Leo in 2024. That one that made an opposition with Pluto. Yeah. Who got like, no, I need to be careful with what I say. I do not want to piss you guys off, so maybe I'm just going to like leave it at that. But look at what happened in October, November of 2024. And that is now in January of 2027 going to get a very, very big continuation of the story. On a collective level, we're going to see such a big increase in conflict and in confrontational issues and competitiveness. And Mars, yeah, it rules over war and assertion and dominance. And yeah, we're going to see a lot of high intentions, you guys. We're going to see aggressive leadership decisions. We're going to see a faster escalation of conflicts for sure. And like now also with Viktor Orban losing his spot in Hungary, and his new guy, what was his name? Peter Maggi, or like, I do not know how to pronounce his last name, but yeah. If you look at who's happy celebrating this new guy in Hungary, then I do not need to say any more about that. I guess Ursula von der Leyen is very happy about that as well. Yeah. The longer we go into time, the more obvious things get. And that is necessary because a lot of people are still not seeing the truth, and we are just gonna be having to be patient and understanding and waiting until like everyone is ready to wake up to the fact that they're actually massively controlling us. And we cannot accelerate the process from being angry and trying to wake people up. No, the process is already accelerating massively on a global stage and or on a global scale, and the universe and the gods are going to do that for us. I feel like with this whole Aries Stellium, we're going to see so many people being really pissed off, and they're going to try to take revenge and going to try to assert their dominance. And we just all need to be very aware that the more that we try to take revenge and the more we try to intervene with like the universal realm handing out the karmic repercussions, The more we try to take revenge, the more we try to wake people up and becoming angry if they do not want to listen, the more we actually refrain the process. We need to let the process just go like its natural way, and we cannot be the judge of it. Not about certain world leaders, not about even people in our family. And there's like a vice versa to it, because other times I see people really trying to do their very best to try to keep people safe and warn them and try to withhold them from like bumping their head against the wall. We also cannot do that. People need to be able to learn their life lessons, and we cannot take that away from them by trying to intervene and trying to like keep them safe in a certain way. And I know that is very, very difficult to contain these impulses. Mars and Aries, that is about impulses. And it's really been, it's going to teach us so much about our own impulses. And we cannot take revenge and intervene with the karmic like lessons of the gods, and we can also not try to keep people safe from the karmic lessons of the gods. Like it just doesn't work that way. And once we come into realization of that, we can feel so much calming down with inside of ourselves. It's not our task, it's not our place to judge, place to take revenge, place to try to keep people safe from harm. Sometimes the best thing that can happen is just bumping your head against the wall severely, that it's like waking something up. Sometimes people need to go rock bottom before something can change and an uphill motion can start again. And as long as we try to keep people from like falling down, to like try to intervene for them to like not hit rock bottom, then they're not hitting rock bottom, and you're actually keeping them very stuck at this last place before they hit rock bottom. But the best thing we could do is actually let go so that they can hit rock bottom, so that they can climb up again. As long as you do not hit the bottom, you're not going to get the other wall to climb out of it again. So the only thing we can do is observe. And when they do ask for help, we can show them certain things. We can hold space for them. We can listen. We can open our heart. We can give them a very big hug. But if you see someone walking into their own like downfall, then maybe that is something that needs to happen, and some kind of lesson that they need to learn. And that is definitely something that I'm seeing playing out more and more now that all the planets are shifting signs. I see a lot of people being stuck in like still the old energy, or doing things the old way, the familiar kind of way. People who are very, very attached to the past. And these people are gonna hit their head against the wall. And that is okay. We also need to accept that everyone is within their own process, and we cannot speed it up or slow that process down. It just doesn't work that way. The only thing we can do is speed up or slow down our own process. So and whenever you let that go, it can massively feel like a weight is like falling off your shoulders. It's not up to us to save other people, and we are out of the Neptune and Pisces transit. We are into Saturn and Aries. Saturn and Aries, and also Neptune and Aries. It's about taking responsibility for your own actions, your own identity, and your own path. And those who have done that are gonna be very able to really tap into this whole Aries energy to really forge their own new path. And it can lead to very beautiful places. That is for sure. So do not fear it. I see so many fear mongering on Instagram, on TikTok, and of course, yeah, that leads to massive views, and that is not what we're here for. I actually want to be the one that like calms things down and let you guys be able to really see also the beautiful part of this. Yes, ongoing conflicts are gonna erupt more fully. That is the astrology. But sometimes festering wounds. Maybe sometimes it needs to be ripped open in order for it to heal more fully. Yeah, we are in a big spiritual war, and we really need to be able and to be careful to not lose ourselves within all of that. And the only way we can win this spiritual war is actually by overcoming our own darkness. And I feel like a lot of people are letting that depend on either world leaders or white hats or other kind of like, it is a very big responsibility for the white hats to carry you guys. If you're gonna be like, I'm at home and I'm just gonna let the white hats fix it all, that is actually very ungrateful. That is actually not helping the process at all. We need to be wearing our own white hat in order to contribute towards the healing process here on earth. And I think that is something where a lot of people get stuck in some kind of way. And we were confused with Neptune and Pisces, but that time is over right now. So yeah, let's just all get out our own white hats and be the example that we wish to see in the world. And by changing and transmutating our own darkness and our own anger, that is only going to be the whole answer about overcoming the darkness. And it might seem like the darkness is getting stronger. That is not the truth. The darkness is getting exposed. So it's actually good that it's no longer so lingering under the surface. These whole Epstein files and people who are connected to it, um, it's been like this for so many years. Like definitely for the last, like since the 1600s. Maybe I should do a whole video on that. It's been like this for so many years, and we are gonna get out of it. It's just not gonna happen tomorrow. We all need to do a lot of work on really purging our own shadow. And this is gonna help us come into touch with that and reignite that spark, and also the motivation and the courage to look at yourself and look at your own identity and look at where things need to be purged, changed. And like Neptune is dissolving a lot, and then Saturn is building a new foundation within all of our identity collectively right now. It's going to get a little bit more difficult before things getting better. But yeah, we're here to engage in this beautiful process, so be grateful for it. All right, the Sabian symbol. Yeah, that is actually, this is actually why I did such a big rant today. The Sabian symbol is a large disappointed audience. So I do not like, in Dutch we say, je moet er geen tekeningetje bij maken, which means like I do not have to make a drawing explaining what the Sabian symbol means. Yeah, people are gonna get disappointed with what's about to unfold. There's tension between our authenticity and also trying to find this ongoing external validation. And this is also like what happens when you finally stop performing for others and start being your true self. Not everyone is gonna like it. We sometimes need to disappoint people. There's gonna be judgment, there's gonna be rejection, disappointment from others. And especially if other people had a lot of expectations of you, when that no longer aligns with who you are becoming. It's okay to disappoint other people. The truth is that by being more authentic and tapping into the whole beautiful fiery Aries energy, their disappointment of you becoming your truest self, it is not failure. Definitely not your failure. It is actually your freedom. And this new moon, it really asks to choose yourself, even if that means being misunderstood or being not understood or not being celebrated by the beautiful raw reboot and identity that is going to come off of this new moon. You can simply just not build a life that is based on other people's expectations, and that is gonna become very, very obvious now over the next couple of weeks. So at its core, this symbol is really about breaking free from all the external validation. This is really also about like a little bit of disillusionment that is gonna search or serve as like a search and awakening. And we need to choose authenticity over approval, you guys. And this is a big Sabian symbol. We cannot please everyone. Others are not going to understand our new path that we're going to be forging. And rejection is redirection. It is one of my favorite mottos, you guys. If someone rejects me, it's like, okay, yeah, well, that is okay. Like most of the people who reject others are actually simply rejecting themselves. And that is something that an Aries is very aware of. Aries, they do not care about other people's opinion. Like, just be your truest self. And even if others are not going to be approving of that. Too much of this society is based upon other people's opinions, and it's all fake. I cannot fake. It's just not possible when you're in Aries. So you're going to see a lot of people coming out of like fakery mode. I think that's something to be celebrated. This new moon, it's also conjunct Chiron, which is pretty important because this is where it gets very, very personal. Chiron, it is about our deepest soul wounds. It is the archetype of the wounded healer. So wounds, healing, vulnerability. In Aries, about our identity, self-worth, that has been trying to heal for such a long time. If I remember it correctly, I think it's from 2018, but I actually forgot the time when Chiron ingressed into Aries. I should look that up. But it's going to trigger themes of feeling not good enough, triggering themes of fearing of being too much or too visible. You guys, when I was younger, as an Aries myself, a lot of people are going to agree upon the fact that I am a very intense human being, and most men are so afraid of me. It's actually a very big joke. Sometimes I laugh and say like I have more testosterone than like the general man. But that's also because like true masculinity, it has been under attack for so many years. I also feel like there are a lot of strong females having to really carry like the man's emotions or the man's insecurities, and like females and like the matriarchy and all of that, like females are so strong, and I feel like we are missing strong men, you guys. But it's by design. They have been attacking young males for so many years, and it's very hard to bring that back into balance, because if you look at one of the biggest things that has been attacking men and definitely masculinity is actually I cannot pronounce this word on YouTube, I guess, but these dirty sites where they are like constantly tuning into, they are throwing away their life energy every morning, midday, and evening. There are a lot of people, and especially young men, who are very addicted to these dirty websites. And it's been proven that that makes you stupid. And it's all like, it's so normalized. It is so normal in society. It's very hard to find men who are not getting wrapped up and getting lost and throwing away their life force and their life energy. And then I also feel like women just accept it. And I think we really need to stop accepting this. If you look at like seed preservation and like the old Tao teachings from the East, and how you actually need to cultivate your life force and your energy, because like I'm saying all of this right now because Mars and of course Aries, it is masculinity, it is life force energy, it's prana, it is semen, it all belongs to Mars and Aries. And I think it is so necessary that we open up this conversation, because it is not healthy. And I need to be careful not to trigger too much, but if you are a woman watching this and you allow your man to actually waste his life force on these fake females who are just like shaping this whole wrong image of how love should be made and shared and how you should be cultivating your prana and your life force, then you need to stop it. Like, please help me help other conscious females who are very aware of how it is actually destroying the whole union of man and wife. And it happens so much. Oh my god, I live nearby the beach. When it's like summer, then all the tourists they come over, and then I see the women pushing the stroller in the sand, which is like almost impossible. She has like one kid on her arm, she has a bag on her other arm, and then she's pushing the stroller. And then behind her walks a man like this. Sometimes, and then it's my Aries fire igniting him. Sometimes I'm like, want to go over there and like just like shake the guy and be like, what are you even doing? And then the fun thing is that females have become so accepting of these soulless behavior of guys that whenever they do put out the garbage, then we're like applauding that. That is also something we need to stop, because it's hard to put it into words without triggering too much. But like honestly, when I look around here in my hometown of Blankenberge, most men are pussies. I said it. I said it, and I'm sorry. And I know if you're a guy watching these videos, like I am not talking about you, because you do embody the warrior archetype and you do embody consciousness and you are very aware of what's going on. So I'm definitely not pointing fingers here at you guys, but still, we really need to come to terms that masculinity is under attack for so many years. Like, also females taking anti-conception, these fake hormones, they are peeing that. It gets into like the water, and then the water, it gets like, yeah, it gets filtered, but still, and there's a residue. And then men are drinking tap water, just ingesting all of these anti-conception hormones of the females. Of course we have a problem. Like, and there's of course more than that. It's in like shampoos and soap, and there is an attack on the female and male divine archetype. And I really hope that this whole fire thing really ignites like some fireworks in some male's butts, you guys. I really hope that, because it is necessary. I'm not gonna get too far, like I'm digressing a little bit here maybe, but still, take responsibility and do not accept it. Like honestly, I would never accept to marry or date a guy that is watching these dirty websites. No, no, never. um it's only because we shut up and we keep silent, and because we are happy with the leftover that is still here in society, that is just then creating bigger problems. And I know that might sound a little bit intense, and there are still masculine warriors. Like, I'm together with one for the last 8 years. They are still out there, but what I notice is that they are within the older generation, a generation older than me. When I look at the generation younger than me, like, oh my god, dear lord, like, please. And I need to be careful with what I say, because I cannot generalize everyone. No, there are exceptions to the rule. But what I see here and what I notice within my own environment is that these days, in the younger generations, the females are like way more stronger and way more like putting up with no bullshit and protecting the men. So yeah, they flipped the script and we need to unflip it. We need to all really start to embody our own divine roles again. This whole feministic bullshit is also something that really strongly led towards all of this. And I feel like men are just fed up. They also feel dominated by women a lot of the times. That is also like, I'm gonna like reverse it a little bit right now, because what I also see play out is like a lot of females, because it has been created in this like script, they like bluntly dominate their guy, and they're not being able to really tap into the feminine role neither. So that is also not healthy. So I'm not only pointing fingers at the males, I'm pointing fingers at both. And actually I cannot point fingers because everyone's in its process, and I've just like did this whole rant. But still, we need to become aware about where things are going a little bit south, and where we need to reignite and re-establish the divine masculinity here. And us women can definitely help by restoring that. The first thing is not accepting them to be on like constantly liking other girls' posts, and not be on these apps where they can just swipe. That is also such a big problem that just created and made everything so much worse. Not accepting them looking at these demonic websites, because if he's constantly throwing his life energy away looking at these other females, then you accept that in your own bed. I think that's disgusting, but that's just my opinion. Another thing is also, stop dominating them. Let them lead. Females are really looking for a guy to lead them, to take charge. And maybe we just like need to communicate what we expect, what we want, what we would like. But I feel like a lot of females are also like keeping silent in order not to disturb the peace, and with that there's no peace. So yeah, speak up, speak your mind, speak into like what you need, and be honest about it. But do it in a healthy, empowered kind of way. Do not be like, well, you're only taking out the garbage every 2 weeks. Blah, blah, blah. No, you can be like, okay, but I would really love for you if you were to do this a little bit more or that. We can really speak from a place of power without having to like really nitpick and nag and oh my god, I see so many females just nagging the masculinity out of their husband, and I think it's sad. I think we all need to become a little bit more aware of our own part and our own participation in what goes wrong now between the union and like the whole family union, and also divine masculine and feminine union. It's been under attack for so many years about like from these dark arts people, and we're gonna have to really embody our strong feminine essence to help to restore the male essence as well. But we cannot just simply say it's the man's fault. No, we can help. We can add or we can block. that depends on us. And then we need to support our man and to really becoming more empowered as well. Do not overpower a man. That is not what he's biologically wired for. Um, but there are so many levels and so many viewpoints in every situation, and it will be different for everyone. It's also deeply layered that is very difficult for me to actually make like a general talk about that. In my client sessions, it all really strongly depends on everyone's personality and own unique situation, of course. But I hope this was like kind of helpful. And if you did find it helpful, can you please like let me know in the comments, what's your take on it? How are you trying to embody more of your own natural role? And of course, in each of us, we have our divine masculine and feminine role. But I feel like that is a little bit out of balance in both genders, and that needs to be restored within each and every one of us. And it's like it's our responsibility to do that within inside of ourselves, and maybe help support our partner to do that as well within themselves. Hopefully this like led towards some more awareness about all of that, because the strongest power is the power of love, and that can only flow when both archetypes within both genders are like balanced. And of course, if you're a guy liking guys and a female loving females, I'm all for it. You each also have both archetypes within inside of yourself. So no, wherever love exists, then that is very beautiful. So I wanted to add a little note in regards to that as well. All right, man, I've been yapping today. All right, so the conjunction to Chiron can be about planting new seeds in like the Chiron archetype, about like, this is who I am and I'm not gonna shrink myself anymore for someone else. If you have difficulties asserting yourself, then this can start to heal after that. If you if you fear rejection, if you have confident issues, old identity wounds are going to get triggered, and this is a very big beautiful chance to actually reclaim your power. So then of course we have the conjunction to from Mars and Saturn. That is going to be a little bit more difficult. I wish I had more time to do a whole other video about that. Maybe I will, but it's already within a couple of days. I don't know if I'm gonna have the chance to make that video. I do not think I'm gonna. I was just checking my schedule. Sorry, guys. So Mars Saturn, action meets limitation, action meets discipline. A lot of discipline is required. Can be a slow but very powerful progress, and also like, can feel like a whole new slow process is being kicked off into a lot of the themes that I've just mentioned. And we all need to remember with Saturn and Aries, it likes to sprint, but this is not a sprint, you guys. This is like a marathon. Like, it's like a marathon des sables, you guys. It's gonna take some time before we are gonna heal that. But this is about like very deep transformation also happening. What you do now is gonna matter far beyond into time and space. And it's gonna be a test here with Mars and Saturn. This is very defining energy, because Saturn is of course the planet of discipline, karma, and also limitation. And when these two meet, it can create a very specific kind of pressure. Mars is fast, wants to go all in, act now, all or nothing. Saturn is then like, slow down, be a little bit more strategic. First, you need to prove yourself, prove your word, prove that you're practicing what you preach whenever Mercury is about to conjunct Mars and Saturn. So we can feel a little bit more tension, but we would like to push forward, but something is like resisting within inside of us, maybe external resistance. We are going to face some kind of delay, obstacle, or reality check. And it can feel a little bit frustrating. I'm not gonna lie. Things are not gonna move as quickly as we would like them to. But it's like a reality check and a check in with yourself with like, are you serious about this? And are you like willing to put in the work? Are you willing to really commit to this new version? If you prove to be like dependable, honest, mature, then this has so much potential to build something that's going to be long lasting and very solid over the long term. But it's going to be built with a lot of patience, and it needs to be built with integrity. And patience is a word that is non-existent in an Aries. It's diary, or like how do you say woordenboek? Yeah, dictionary, diary, dictionary. I meant dictionary. So also, this is also like, it is disciplined action, and it's about mastering your energy. It's about learning how to control your impulses and also channeling your drive and your fire into something that actually has structure and direction. So we need to work with it against of fighting it. And a lot of people are gonna fight it, and they're gonna like punch a hole in the wall or buy the piece out of the wall, and they're going to be very frustrated. So know that this is just like part of the game here, and there's no escaping that. But if you can alchemize the process, it's really where like raw ambition turns into real achievement. So take it slow, be intentional, think about the long term, zoom out, have like a view of the 40,000 picture view. Zoom out, zoom out, zoom out. It's about long lasting results. Luckily, Mars is also sextiling Pluto. Pluto is like about deep transformation and power. It's about strategic. Um, excuse me. Yeah, it's about like strategic new plans, man. And long-term consequences on the collective impact, what is going to come off of this. You can be the one who creates a ripple impact on the collective. Do never forget that. What you do, what you think is actually very, very important. So yeah, it can actually change your entire trajectory. It's actually very, very important here. So, big identity reset, you guys. Who are you really? Are you living an authentic life? Are you facing what you've been avoiding? Are you going to take some new action despite all the uncertainty? Are you believing Neptune and Aries in yourself? Release people pleasing behavior. But I'm also not saying to blindly, like bluntly run over other people and hurt them in the process. No, because then you're going to get punished by Saturn immensely. It's really more about like stop people pleasing and becoming more self-reliant. Aries does not need anyone else to make the mission like success. Be careful not to let the energy get stuck in your body. Let it move. Movement is going to be major importance here. Otherwise, you can get like inflammable chronic issues with Mars Saturn. If that were to came up for you, then you really need to move through the energy. So yeah, courage versus fear. Which one are you gonna get, or which one are you gonna tap into? Globally, of course. I'm maybe going too fast. Globally, yeah, more conflict, tension, aggression, public reactions to certain decisions from leaders. Saturn is about leadership. Aries is about leadership. Mars is about war. Mercury is about news, but it's also about images, you guys. And having Mercury on Neptune here, oh my God, we're going to see so much media propaganda, fear mongering, false images, distorted images, trying to really install fear. There's going to be mass hypnosis, Neptune, through the media, Mercury in regards to war, Aries. Be careful what you believe. It might not be the truth. And then a new moon. It is at the 27 degrees, a Gemini degree, conjunct Chiron, trying to inflict wounds. So the dark arts people are going to really try to use this to throw us out of center. People are gonna see through the bullshit and they're gonna be massively pissed off. So yeah. All right. I think I think I said enough. Nothing really comes through anymore. So yeah, this is not about waiting. It's actually like taking actions on what you would like to manifest in your life. We're over with like, I hope this and I hope that. No, now it's like, I do this and I do that. So manifesting through action can become very, very beautiful in your personal life over the next 6 months. All right, some rituals here. Of course, fire ritual, light a red or an orange candle. You can write inside the candle, I am with, and maybe I am confident, I am independent, I am fearless, and you can burn the candle. It's something I like to do a lot, and I feel that really helps. Burning things, but do it safely, you guys. Writing a letter to your future self, where you would like to see yourself within 6 months of time with the new seeds that are getting planted right now. Seal it, burn it, or you can open it during the full moon in Aries and then burn it. That is also a very beautiful way to work with it. Physical steps, physical movement, that is also going to be very important. Move your body with passion. You can fill in the blanks with that, but just do not keep stuck. Stretching, muscles. Aries rules over our head. It rules over things that are red. It rules over our arteries, our blood. We need to get the blood pumping. Otherwise, we can get into like very physical and also spiritual and kind of karmic blocks with Mars on Saturn here. And we need to really move through that. This is going to be very important. So some crystals, of course, the diamond is the birthstone of Aries. Then we also have carnelian, which is gonna ignite some courage, and red jasper to ground the feisty, fiery energy. Something that I also like to do a lot as being an Aries is like I eat ginger like all of the time. I love ginger. I have like, yeah, I cannot live without ginger. I wake up, I drink ginger shots, I put ginger in my soup, I just put ginger next to my food. I love ginger. I am a Virgo rising. I have a lot of stomach aches from time to time. It's just something I have to deal with, and ginger just helps me really, really well. But the ginger is like something that is hot. It is struff. How do we say struff? Yeah, it's just like very, very outspoken flavor. And Aries is everything that is hot, like hot peppers or red peppers or like something very piquant. Yeah, very hot. Ginger is also one of them. I adore ginger. It's been a lifesaver. And when I go sailing, sometimes I get a little bit of nausea. Definitely within the first few weeks of the new sailing season, and then I'm like just like chewing on ginger all of the time, and it really helps. And it's also going to help with the Aries fire. So yeah, oh, something else I would really like to share with you guys. Here we have it. I am gonna host my new workshop. That is gonna be such a fun one because it's the last big planetary shift. So the last outer planet, Uranus, that is going to shift into the sign of Gemini. Here we can see it. So you can just go to Beyond Mystic Academy, and then you can click this one, and then it's going to be, why is it not sharing? Of course. Maybe because I'm doing this live or live, maybe because I'm recording. I actually do not know why it's not sharing. That is interesting energy. Hey, dear internet, why do you not want me to share my workshop? Maybe because I'm gonna say some stuff that you guys might not like. What? Maybe the dark arts people do not want me to share with you guys. That could be a very, very big reason of why it's not sharing my workshop. But if you just click on, if you just click here on the workshop, then you're definitely going to like enter the paying stage, or how do you say it? The page that is gonna. Why is it not working? Help! Oh my god, no. All right, yeah. Then we're gonna just have to leave it at that. It's so typical. Like I have my North Node in the second house, so I need to learn how to advertise and sell myself. You guys are probably gonna be laughing, and it's always like, yeah, something happens, or it is difficult for me to like really sell myself and advertise my workshops, and it's so funny that it's like now coming up again. But yeah, all right, we're gonna give up. And that is like also maybe one of the reasons that this happens right now. Aries is like, Aries is very pushy and can get like really push through. And it's also knowing when it's like, okay, it's time to give up. It's not my battle. It's not gonna serve me to keep on fighting. It's not gonna gain me anything. Or if I keep on pushing, keep on trying, and I'm seriously getting blocked, then maybe there's just a reason, and maybe I should stop like getting like resistance towards that. So whenever something happens, I always try to like look at it from a different angle or a different perspective. But the workshop is actually, I was gonna show you the pay, like the page where you can pay. It's $20, and I really want to like keep it all very affordable, because I know a lot of you guys are definitely struggling financially, and yeah, economically these are difficult times, and with all the inflation and everything that's going on, so my workshops, they are like a bargain. It's $20. I want to keep them like accessible for everyone, so that you're actually able to get the most of what Uranus and Gemini is going to bring. So yeah, Uranus, shock, surprises, new things, change, innovation, expect the unexpected, and Gemini, it is our brain, but also our local environments. So yeah, a lot of people are gonna get a very big consciousness upgrade. Thank God for that. But also for us who are already very aware about what's going on. Also, like for everyone, this is like no one escapes the energy. Everyone is gonna have new lightning bolts switching on, new like yeah, things within inside our head. Our brain chemicals are getting like massively restructured, rebooted, and there's gonna be like new attachment being forged without like within our synapses, and like it's gonna be pretty cool stuff, you guys. So yeah, I cannot wait to talk a little bit more about that. If you want to join the workshop, then you can definitely find the link for that in the description box below, and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys there. It will be live on April the 26th at 11 a.m. Eastern time, or 5 p.m. For people from Europe or who also live in Belgium or the Netherlands. So yeah, if you want to join, more than welcome. I will be very happy to share a bit more about all of that. All right, I've been going on for quite some time, you guys, and I still need to do the 12 signs, but I'm gonna take a very quick break, and then I will be back for the 12 signs. So see you soon, guys. All right, let's start the readings for the 12 signs. Of course, you can first listen for your rising sign, then you can also listen for your sun sign. And if you have a moon in Aries, you can definitely also listen for your moon sign. Let's start with Aries, the stars of today's show. And oh my god, Aries, I'm telling you, this is a once in a lifetime. A very big identity reshift, like a very big rebooting shift within your identity. It's in your first house of self. It is about you, and you guys are so much about me. Aries is a sign of I am. It's about your body, your direction, your personality. This is a very big reignition in your entire life path. So, very big new start of like a whole new personal cycle that gets kicked off. This is like, because it's so intense, the intensity of the astrology, wow, it's just like not only a new chapter, it's like a complete rewriting of who you are becoming over the next 6 months of time. With the Aries Stellium in your first, you have Mars, your ruler, within its home sign. You have Saturn, Neptune, Mercury, Chiron, the Sun, the Moon. Wow, all within Aries. Like, this can create some pressure, some sense of like urgency, and it's gonna bring a very big transformation, like all at once. So Saturn, of course, it is forcing a lot of maturity and also responsibility. With Mars, your ruler, on top of that, you might face a significant delay or obstacle that is going to test your resilience. And if you succeed this karmic test, then you can get a very big reward. But stay calm, dear Aries. You're going to need to implement a little bit more patience. And I know that is not part of your vocabulary. So also, Neptune, this has like, it's been dissolving your identity quite massively, and it's been infusing way more spirituality within your identity. Like, as an Aries myself, I got to say that I've had some pretty significant psychic things happening, and it's really making me more aware of my spiritual power. It's like something gets ignited when all that, and it's just like my intuition is so on fire, and it's definitely going to be turning up a notch here with this new moon and this whole Aries stellium. But then also Chiron and a new moon conjuncting that is going to bring up old wounds around you, not feeling seen, heard, being called too much or not enough. This very deep personal work, but it's gonna forge a whole new sense of like strength. So of course, Mars, your ruler, also in Aries, your drive, it is really unmatched. It is so big, it is so heightened, it is so strengthened, and you might feel a little bit pushed to act, but also you need to act wisely. Otherwise, it can like backfire if you're gonna become too assertive here. Mars and Saturn, it's really about like disciplined action and not about creating impulsive chaos. And yeah, you need to ask yourself, like, am I serious about becoming this new version of myself? And if you are, then the energy is definitely going to build something very powerful and something very long lasting. This is about like planting new seeds who carry massive potential. A whole new start in your life is about to get kicked off here. And this might also simply manifest within like a change in your appearance. Maybe you start a new fitness routine, maybe you launch a new personal brand, maybe you make a bold decision about your life direction. Some of you are going to quit their job, but be careful like not to rage quit. Otherwise you could end up in a very difficult 2-year cycle here at Mars and Saturn. So make sure you have a backup plan. Make sure you think things through. You can also like start your own business, because Aries is also very much about an entrepreneurial spirit that gets reignited here. You might also like totally redefine your public identity, or like your identity gets changed in like a public kind of way. Mars, your ruler, is on Saturn, and Saturn rules over the 10th house of your career. So if you really want to become more independent in your whole career matters, then this can be a very beautiful new time to really reignite that. Yeah, this is the moment, my dear Aries, to take control over your own life. And sometimes that can mean disappointing others, but you know what's best for yourself. Just be careful not to hurt others in that process. And if you're going to do all of that, then my beautiful dear Aries, you're going to have such a positive, bountiful energy here that gets kicked off. And if you feel some anger coming up, look at it, accept it, do not resist it. Otherwise, it's only going to grow stronger. Tap into it and find a healthy outlet for it. And if you're going to do all of that, then this is really like full force ahead and a brand new beautiful chapter that gets kicked off. So let me know in the comments what is happening for you guys, how it is playing out right now in your lives. I'm very, very interested in hearing your guys' stories, of course. So let me know, and I wish you the best of luck in this brand new ignition cycle. Good luck, Aries. We have Taurus, Sun, Moon, or Rising. All right, Taurus. This fiery, feisty Aries Stellium and also the new moon is actually happening in your 12th house. It is a little bit more quiet. Can be a powerful cycle of endings here. This is not so much about external action, like, for example, Aries risings, but it's more about internal closure and healing and be able to really release the past. The 12th is about the subconscious, so it can get really loud within all of that. Subconscious issues are definitely coming to the surface, and you're actually preparing for like a major rebirth whenever planets are going to shift over into Taurus, whenever Taurus season gets kicked off here, and within like 4 weeks of time, Mars will then also be in your sign. So this is like a very big preparation period before the new moon also happens in your sign, my dear Taurus. So purge everything that is not necessary anymore, everything you do not want to take into this brand new cycle that is going to be kicked off next month. Purge everything, release it, and heal. Take some more time for withdrawal, for like maybe isolating a little bit. Can be a very powerful, fiery time to connect with like the spirit realms. Your angels, your guides are talking very, very loudly to you right now. It can turn up in synchronicities and messages through dreams, or simply hearing someone or like overhearing certain conversations that are going to give you more insights in where you block yourself. 12th house can be about self-sabotaging behavior as well. So yeah, before Taurus season like kicks off, you are now more focused on like clearing everything emotionally and also spiritually. So yeah, with all of that energy, activating your subconscious, also activating your fears, your habits, your hidden patterns, that can be a little bit much, honestly. And Mars in the 12th, it can also bring like restlessness or a little bit like a feeling of burnout. Saturn also forces you to really confront what you've been avoiding. Neptune then is like blurring a lot of the boundaries. You can feel like more energetically porous with all this energy in the 12th. Still, a very deep psychological reset. Yeah, you're gonna find yourself more withdrawn and more reflective, and from time to time, it can feel a little bit overwhelming. Now, Mars also has something to say about your 7th house of Scorpio. So you're being like confronted with where you sabotage yourself in regards to close one-on-one partnerships. So maybe some of you are gonna break up or distance yourself a little bit more to really come fully into touch with your own inner being, and you're gonna maybe realize where certain relations are no longer aligned. So yeah, do not force external clarity. It is first now a very big period of internal processing. So yeah, you might feel a little bit more sleepy. Might feel like you need to take some time off. Maybe it's going to be very beneficial to talk with a therapist to really work through some subconscious patterns. And maybe you're going to feel like social obligations feel a little bit too overwhelming right now. So also keep a dream journal. You're going to have very vivid dreams. And with that, also, like by tuning into that, you can also release things emotionally. So yeah, a very big healing phase before a major new beginning. Do not rush yourself. Take time to integrate and like implement all of the things that are getting processed and being released right now. So good luck, Taurus. We have Gemini, Sun, Moon, or Rising. This whole stellium in Aries and also the new moon in Aries is happening in your 11th. And that is the house of your friendships. It's like your whole social sphere, networking. Can be about your goals and like future visions, and definitely your aspirations getting like majorly reignited. So yeah, set intentions for like the next chapter in your life and really envision your future and take action upon that with Aries here. Look at your dreams, your networks, the people who walk besides you. Are they fanning your flame or are they actually extinguishing it? And it's going to be very important to really see the difference between all of that. Can be a very powerful time to really see who's having your back and who's actually quietly draining your Aries spirit within the 11th. So yeah, where are you going? Who's coming with you along that new process that's getting reignited here, or gets kicked off? And yeah, with the whole Aries stellium activating your social world and also your ambitions, Mars here is a very helpful planet to help you push you into action towards your goals. And then Saturn here, it's asking you to get serious about your future and really serious about the people who are people providing stability or are they actually proving to be of a block to you. So Neptune then really also challenges or exposes or creates confusion around like all the illusions around friendships and your future dreams as well. So you are going to start to realize that some people no longer align with where you are going in the future, and that is normal. Mars also has something to say over your sixth house of health and work and also your daily routine. So yeah, which daily habits impact your future, or which daily habits or like if you are overworked, maybe it's time to put a little bit more focus on friendships. That is also a possibility here. You need to align your actions with your goals or your energy and time into your friendships, or maybe you've been over focused on friendships and now you're deciding to focus more on work again. Maybe there's going to be some drama in your friend group. That is also a possibility. And then maybe you can try to like overwork in order not to be having to deal with the emotions that gets like triggered here in your social realm. That is definitely a possibility here. So yeah, the energy is really gonna push you to step up. You're gonna probably join new groups of people, new communities. You're gonna leave friendships and maybe new ones enter your life. You might start a very important new project. You can take like a leadership role within a community. The 11th house is also about social media. You can even go viral or create some new blog or new profile that gets like or gains a lot of traction over the next 2 years and can even prove to be of stability here with Mars Saturn. Of course, also your ruler Mercury is within the 11th house. So definitely a lot of important conversations with friendships that are going to show you the next steps forward. You can get even like news from a very important collaboration. That's getting massively activated here. So yeah, very big focus on the future. Choose it consciously who you are going to share it with. Good luck, Gemini. We have Cancer, Sun, Moon, or Rising. All right, Cancer, you are one of the cardinal signs. So this whole Aries stellium is actually squaring you by sign, a little bit more difficult, but nevertheless, very feisty, action-packed energy within your 10th house. So if you've been waiting on that, then now is the time. The 10th, it is about your reputation, your career, your life direction. And this is one of the most important new moons for you because it happens at the top of the chart. And that is really very publicly visible. It is activating your public life and also your long-term ambitions within your own career. If you want to become independent or like fully self-employed, then this is really the time to do it. But it's going to take a lot of hard work, a lot of determination, and it's going to take a little bit longer than you would have liked here with Saturn on top of Mars and Mercury in your 10th. But definitely a very important new big start and like a whole new professional chapter that gets kicked off. And of course, an Aries stellium in the 10th, that is intense, you guys. Mars is going to push you to act, but Saturn demands so much responsibility and maturity, and then Neptune can create some uncertainty or not really knowing fully where you're going to go or how this is going to play out. Surrender, trust the divine plan, you guys. And then the conjunction to Chiron, that can bring up like fears around being seen or fears around stepping into a leadership position. And it can feel a little bit overwhelming. You're strongly being pushed into like growth and letting yourself be more seen. And I know you're a Cancer, you like to hide inside of your shell. Well, now this Aries Stellium says you need to come out of it and show yourself. Mars also rules over the fifth house. Definitely also a very big boost in like your creativity being publicly seen, maybe your passion, maybe your self-expression. All of that is strongly tied towards your career. So yeah, show up boldly, even if you feel a little bit out of your comfort zone. Step into your authority and take new ownership of your path here. So this can definitely play out in like new job opportunities, promotions, launching your own business, increased visibility, things playing out with your boss. 10th house is also like the house of authority, can be about like institutions or like even the police or everything in regards to that can also actually come up. But do not doubt yourself. You're being called to lead. Take on a major new responsibility. It's going to go well for you and create more stability. Definitely a very big career turning point that is going to define your entire future. So good luck, my dear Cancer, and let me know how it plays out. We have Leo's and Moon Rising. So Leo, this new moon and this whole Aries Stellium, it falls into your ninth house. It is trining you by sign because it's in a fellow fire sign. This is so positive, you guys. So happy for the Leos. You really deserve it because you had to take a lot of punches in the last couple of years, but now definitely something is changing. In the ninth, it is a house of expansion, philosophy, higher learning, like travel, long distance travel, and also it's your belief systems that fall within the ninth house. So really about like breaking out of your current reality and really stepping into something that is bigger and wider and experiencing things, and then the experience are going to lead towards like a whole rewiring in your belief system, and that is going to be one that is going to get more aligned with your truth. A very big truthful house, the ninth. And I know people who have, if people come for a client session and they have a packed ninth house stellium, then I know these are like truth advocates and like freedom fighters, and definitely the Leo rising. So yeah, very beautiful energy here. You can speak up. This is like really activating your desire for growth. Mars is here pushing you to take risks. Saturn asks you to commit to this new long-term expansion. And then Neptune dissolves and really reshapes your beliefs in a way more spiritual kind of way. So change your perspective. And if you do that, your whole world is going to be opening up and expanding. Mars also rules over the fourth. So there's definitely a connection between what's happening at home and that being tied to the expansion in your ninth house. Maybe you're going to like just leave your home and go towards a long trip overseas. That is possible. And then when you are overseas, or also in the ninth house can be about learning. If you learn something new, whether that's overseas or through like a new study or higher education, you can then implement that knowledge inside of your home. And the fourth is also about your like emotional landscape and something being rewired within all of that. You can get more expansive view and insights about what you feel, and also break through patterns that have kept you small, and like these self-limiting beliefs who mostly also fall in the 12th, but are also like a little bit connected to the 9 and the 4th, because the 4th is where you grow up, the 9th house is what you believe, and then the 12th house is how you block yourself. But these are all water houses. Not all, the 9th house is not a water house, but they're like kind of connected. What you believe about yourself is probably inherited from your patterns of upbringing. So something gets reshaped in that as well. So actually very beautiful. If you want to travel, relocate, seek a more meaningful life, break through patterns of upbringing, then this is going to help you massively. Also, if you need to publish something, ninth house is marketing, advertisement, publishing. That is very beautiful. If it's not that, then it's going to just like be a very big spiritual awakening. The spiritual awakening can be triggered through travel, but also through like reading a book, enrolling in new courses, exploring new philosophies. So yeah, this is beautiful. Jump into it, trust it, and if you're gonna do that, then your life is gonna expand. So good luck, Leo. We have Virgo, Sun, Moon, or Rising. So, my dear Virgos, this whole stellium in your 8th. Woo, this is This is like very interesting. Let me know how you're feeling with the energy. Actually, it's been playing out very beautifully in my life right now. It's really also about gaining more insights about yourself and all, and in the deeper parts, and you're gonna get triggered. That is like a no-brainer with this stellium, like totally excuse me, activating the eighth house. The eighth is about transformation, intimacy, shared resources, and it's also about deep emotional work. Like the work you do on yourself, like going through like the pits of like the hell and going to the depths of your soul, you're gonna like resurrect in some kind of way. This can be about like emotional, physical, sexual intertwinement or enmeshment with other people and something being changed in that. Also, the eighth house, it can be about a very powerful reset around money, trust issues, psychological healing. All of that is like very massively intertwined. Occult, mysterious things happening in the eighth. You can have very psychic, yeah, happenings. Like your psychic abilities, they're like triggered, enhanced, boosted in a very profound kind of way. So you guys gotta let me know what's like been happening for you. An Aries Stellium here, it can be very intense. Mars brings confrontation, Saturn brings a lot of seriousness and maturity and responsibility, and then Neptune can bring a little bit of confusion. The new moon on Chiron, it is about healing all these things. It is not surface level. It is like really about deep change within your life, within your relationships, how you bond with other people. And then Mars, also ruling over the third, you're going to have some intense communication. Communication that can actually heal trauma triggers. Or maybe you're gonna have some certain conversations that are gonna show you how much you've healed from those trauma triggers. For example, the third house also rules over siblings. Maybe one specific sibling has been triggering you all your damn life, and you've been gaining so much more awareness about that when they try it now, then you're like, well, I'm like over that, or I'm like at a point where I like elevated myself and where I healed certain trauma triggers, and now I'm coming to realization that it's actually not me. Yeah, there can be a little bit of difficult dynamics with siblings being triggered here, and that is then gonna transform you, and it's about taking your power back. With Scorpio on the third house cusp, siblings can have like rather dark or more negative or like profound, intense, transformational impact onto you. Third house is also being on the road. Third house is also about siblings. Definitely also about communication. You're going to have some type of intense communication or conversation that is going to like really transform something within the deepest part of yourselves. But you are going to feel a need to be more direct, more honest in your conversations. Also, it can be about like finances and energetic boundaries and emotional needs. Yeah, avoiding all of these conversations is not really an option anymore here with this eighth house stellium. So you're going to have financial changes. You can have windfall of monies. You can have like a return on investment. You can have news in regards to taxes. Be careful with Mars Saturn. I would advise you to really put that into order. Otherwise, you can have troubles. But it can also be about like restructuring your debt, or making a new investment, or issues within shared finances can arise. If it's not that, then you can start therapy, heal past wounds, and deepen intimacy within relationships. All of that is part of the eight, but this is definitely a very big transformational period that is going to change your inner world. So good luck, my dear Virgo. We have Libra, Sun, Moon, or Rising. All right, Libra, this is important for you because it's happening in your opposing sign. So you're having a new moon and an Aries stellium in your seventh. And your seventh is about relationships, very close one-on-one connections, business partnerships. And this is now seeing its annual like new moon reset. So yeah, a very big relational reset. But this one, wow, it is a big one, you guys. It's not about like simply meeting someone new or improving how you connect to other people. This is like having such a big triggering and mirroring effect onto you. You are like having to redefine yourself, how you show up in your partnerships, and other people are going to show you what needs to be changed, and that can be a little bit more intense. With Mars in the seventh, you can feel a little bit frustrated about certain partners, but definitely relationships are becoming the biggest mirror that are going to force you to confront yourself with your people pleasing behavior, with your needs, your own boundaries, and your identity within how you like show up in a connection. So Aries now and this whole stellium, Mars, Saturn, Neptune, there is so much all activating this specific part of the chart. And this can be a little bit of a battle zone right now. I'm not gonna lie. Very big activation of the house of relationships and marriage. You can feel pressure. You can feel like things are evolving very quickly. Mars can bring a lot of passion, but also a lot of frustration and conflict. Then Saturn is about like, karmic tests around commitment. And then Neptune can create a lot of confusion and illusion. And then Chiron and the new moon are really going to expose a lot of wounds around rejection, abandonment, not being the one they choose, or feeling like you're being left out in the cold. All these old past wounds are going to get triggered. And it's going to help you to see what's real and what is not. And some of you are going to break away. Others are going to commit very deeply. Your ruler is within the 8th house, Libra, adding another dose of intensity onto all of that. Mars also rules over the 2nd, which is about your self-worth. So your relationships are shining a direct spotlight on your self-worth issues. Yeah. If you undervalue yourself, then this can be a battle of a lifetime. If you do start to have more trust and more self-worth, then you can now choose new partnerships that are more like at your level or at your own vibration. So speak up, speak your truth, stop compromising. Your needs are important. Do not just like keep the peace. Major shift in how you relate to other people. So you might redefine a relationship, you might enter a new one, you might walk away. Definitely very important relationship tests here. So choose authentic connection where you can be yourself, where your own needs are being met, over like the comfortable illusion of having to care for other people all of the time. It's not your task. You're also very important, Libra. So good luck. Scorpio, Sun, Moon, or Rising. Dear Lord Scorpio, your ruler is conjunct Saturn and Mercury and just went over Neptune and is about to hit Chiron as well a couple of days later. And this is a lot, Scorpio. Let me know how you guys are doing. I've seen, honestly, Scorpios go full-on revenge mode, go like full-on stinger mode. Then others I really saw like completely shutting down. So let me know. I'm like a little bit worried. The 6th house, it is the house of misfortune. It is the house of health, work, your routine, your well-being. It's the house of stress. It is in a 150-degree angle of you guys. So let me know how you're coping, how you are moving through this. This is a total reset of like your routine and your lifestyle, and you need to take control back over like your own habits and your productivity and how that like implicates your physical well-being. Over the next 6 months, you're gonna totally rebuild, maybe from scratch, your daily life, everything, your work, your job, your routine. You can build everything again from the ground up. And hopefully that is now going to be in a way that actually supports your health and well-being, because there can be some issues with your health right now, Scorpio. Because there's like this very big pressure in your day-to-day life, and Mars can bring energy and urgency, but Saturn is about discipline and responsibility, and then Neptune can create confusion. All of that together can really point towards a very big burnout. And then the new moon on Chiron It's going to show you where your health and also your habits that impact your health, where that needs healing. It's not light energy. This is forceful energy. You need to get serious about your body, your work, and your time. Of course, Mars is your chart ruler, so this is gonna be a big one for you, you guys. You can feel your energy is high and your drive is activated, but be careful about like forceful behavior with colleagues, with bosses, with people who actually mean well to you. Do not be reckless. Do not go on the offensive. Do not go on the attack. If you do that right now, then your health is going to pay the price. Your body is going to pay the price for your vicious behavior, Scorpio. If you were to choose like the lower road, I would really advise you very strongly to take on the higher road, because like all of this suppressed anger is like bubbling up, and if you're going to project that onto someone else right now, then your body is going to not handle that very well. You cannot just fight. However, you need to let go and release the anger in a very disciplined, mature, beneficial kind of way. Like redirect it into a fitness routine. Strengthen yourself, strengthen your boundaries, strengthen your health. You need to build something sustainable. So some of you are going to apply for a new job. Others are going to rage quit your job here. Be careful about taking on too much responsibilities. Focus on becoming more productive without having that being at a very big cost of your own body. Some of you are going to feel overwhelmed, overworked. You need to pace yourself a little bit. Take good care of yourself, Scorpio, and let me know how it plays out and what you guys are feeling right now. It can be a little bit intense, so good luck, Scorpio. We have Sagittarius and Moon rising. So this new moon and this whole Aries Stellium, it is falling into your 5th house. Very beautiful, Sagittarius. Like, wow, this is like trining you by sign. It's in a fellow fire sign, and it's in the 5th house of joy and creativity, romance, self-expression, fun, leisure time, holidays, just simply being unapologetically yourself. So this is actually a very exciting activation for you, my dear Sag. You can feel like your life becomes more passionate and expressive and alive. So over the next 6 months, with this new seed being planted here, you're going to reconnect to what lights you up. You're going to start to take more risks. You're going to start to express yourself more in a more true and apologetic, honest, authentic kind of way. This is good news, you guys. The 5th house, it brings everything that is related to love, going on a date, having a fun leisure time activity together. It can also manifest in the lives of your children. And if you have children, then you can notice they are quite feisty and quite unfiltered and unbothered. But definitely, Neptune, it is about inspiration, but it can also have an illusioning effect. And then Chiron is going to heal your wounds around self-expression and feeling like the feeling of being seen and heard. So tap into your own creativity. Tap into the things that make your heart sing without fearing all of that. Mars also has an implication on the 12th because it's also part of Scorpio. So there is a very big, deeper healing process happening underneath all of it. This is about releasing self-sabotaging habits in regards to love, children, but also releasing fears of like rejection, vulnerability, the fear of being fully seen. All of that is being purged right now as well. And this is like proving to be of new, stable foundation for the next 2 years, you guys. So do not hide your light. You need to fully express it. You are like very optimistic. Taking emotional and creative risks can pay off very well. And for some Sagittarius, this can mean like new romantic opportunities, creative projects. It can even have the news of you being pregnant. That can also happen in the 5th. Tap into your artistic side. Some of you are gonna start dating again, just like reconnecting with joy in like a new kind of way. So take your passion seriously and really choose joy and build something lasting and real from your joy. That is gonna be the gateway into a whole new world. So good luck, my dear Sag. You have Capricorn, Sun, Moon, or Rising. My dear Capricorn, you are also one of the cardinal signs, and you have this whole Aries Stellium squaring you by sign, which is a little bit more difficult. I'm not gonna lie, and it's in your fourth house at the bottom of the chart. It is very emotional. It is very raw. It is very deep. The fourth house rules over your home, your family. It's your emotional landscape and the foundations and the patterns that you were brought up with. Very deep reset of your inner world, and has a very big implication on your current living situation. So it's not just about you where you live, like physically, your actual physical place of home. It's also about how you feel safe and seen, supported. Look at how you rooted. Over the next 6 months, your entire foundation is going to shift and is going to be rebuilt, because your chart ruler Saturn is making a conjunction with Mars, the ruler of this new moon in your fourth house, squaring you. Woo! This is an important time, you guys. My dear Capricorns, let me know what's happening. I'm so curious, because the fourth, it brings so much intensity into your home with Mars there, and Aries on that fourth house cusp. It can bring a lot of activity and a lot of fiery passion, but it can also bring a lot of conflict. Definitely with mother archetypes, honestly. Maybe you're a little bit more frustrated towards her. Female archetypes can be a little bit more aggressive, and even passive aggressive, with the fourth and Mars like mixed. But it brings a lot of intensity inside the walls of your home. And then Saturn, your chart ruler, it brings so much responsibility and karmic lessons. And Neptune then brings a lot of emotional confusion and also longing, like longing for belonging. But maybe you need to first shed something out of yourself before you feel like truly present within this moment or within your home. So Chiron, it really wants to bring healing to all of the family wounds and all the patterns that you've inherited from your family. So there is pressure at home, there is pressure within your emotional world. It's pushing you to really create something more stable and long lasting. And Mars also has an implication on your 11th house, because that is a sign of Scorpio. Of course, the 11th is about your friendships, but also about like your future visions. So your home life is directly tied to your long-term vision, and something shifts within all of that. That can definitely happen. You cannot build like your future on an unstable emotional foundation. Something needs to be purged and cleaned out and healed there. So get your home and your emotional life in order so you can move forward and more like sailing into calmer waters. Some of you are gonna move houses, so like a relocation is possible, a renovation is also possible. You might need to deal with family matters head on. You might confront a lot of emotional patterns from your past. But this is really about like wanting to resolve family issues, you guys, and it can feel heavy, but it is necessary. So build a foundation that is actually going to support your next chapter within long-term sadness there. So very important. So Capricorn, let me know how this is playing out for you. I'm actually very curious how you guys are handling this. It's in an angular house. It's a little bit more tense, especially also with Mars conjuncting Saturn, your ruler. Mars conjunct Saturn can really be a time, and it's going to be heightened around like the 18th, 19th, 20th of April, where you can feel like a block. Maybe you need to take some time off. Maybe you need to like get out of the house and book maybe a short vacation. It's like over the weekend. If you can have some free time, go somewhere maybe alone and like reflect and journal about your family patterns and look what comes up and look where you feel blocked. Maybe you are blocking yourself with some conditioning from the family. That is definitely a possibility here. Look what it does for you. Look at the blocks of your father and your mother and look if there are certain similar patterns turning up within your own life. And that is gonna give you a lot of like an idea where you need to work on, where you need to like head into, and that is gonna then help you because this gives you like the resilience and the strength to break through them. Very beneficial energy. Some of you are going to have friends from the 11 come over at your home, and that can create a little bit of tension. Just saying that. But yeah, overall, I wish you good luck, my dear Capricorn. We have Aquarius and Moon rising. All right, Aquarius. This new moon, it is happening in your third house. Feisty, fiery, but it makes a sextile towards you, which is a positive aspect, but you need to put in some work for that. The third, it is about conversations. It is the house of communication, your mindset, how you process information, how you learn, being on the road, siblings, neighbors, cars, technological devices all fall within the third. So a very big reset in how you think, how you speak, how you connect. It can get really, really busy, you guys. This is like the house where your email box just floods and you're like, oh my God, this is like so much work to get back to everyone. You can feel like you're constantly chit-chatting or other people, you can feel like they're cackling and you need to like constantly be out and about and meeting a lot of people, running around, like just things getting really, really busy. Do not burn your mind out during this time. Very important, your voice, your ideas, how you navigate your local environment. In the next 6 months, that is getting strongly rewired, and you're stepping into a way more powerful and intentional way of communicating. But you guys, Aquarius, your chart ruler is at 29 degrees in Taurus, squaring you by sign. Do not be too shocking to older people. You're gonna have like 1 or 2 important conversations that can feel quite feisty. So the Aries Stellium in the third, it activates the mind so much, and Mars makes you very direct, outspoken, unfiltered, unbothered, unhinged. Be careful, because Saturn can bring like a lot of seriousness and discipline that needs to be added into your conversation methods. And Neptune then adds so much intuition, but can also indicate like confusion and burnout within the mind. And then Chiron, it's going to highlight a lot of wounds within communication, or it's trying to heal wounds within like not feeling heard. You are learning how to use your voice with confidence and clarity, but do not go on the attack here, guys, because whoa. Martin III is always like an implication of like swearing, cursing, being pissed off, really spitting fire truths. Like I'm all for it as an Aries, but a lot of people can feel like, whew, this is a little bit much, honestly. And then Mars is also part of the 10th house, because there we have the sign of Scorpio. So career is from the 10th. Everything you say, everything you sign, third house is also contracts and signing agreements, your communication and what you agree upon to then put onto paper. It is directly tied to like your career, your public life, your success. What you say is going to matter immensely, and whether you're going to have like a breakthrough in your career or not. How you present is going to matter a lot, because Mars is Lord of the 10th house, and the 10th house is also people in an authority position. Some of you are going to have a fight with their fathers. I know that for a fact. He can be a little bit like a pain in the ass, or be like too controlling, and you're like, no, enough is enough. Your boss also falls into the 10th house, so he can be a little bit more easily triggered by what you have to say, so be careful. Step into authority through your voice, but try to tap into the balanced Aries energy. Speaking, writing, leading conversations, you like unconsciously you're like taking the lead in conversations. Be careful that you're like a good leader or a good boss yourself if you're like self-employed and you have your business. But I see Jupiter in the 6th. That is very possible, very positive for like employees, but still You can really take the lead and lead a team and do that from a very empowered kind of way. If you're a blogger, a podcaster, if you want to update your email list, all of that also belongs to the third house. Be careful for road rage. Some of you are going to get blocked in traffic, like actual speed bumps, roadblocks. Maybe be also a little bit careful about accidents, because Mars and Saturn are the two malefics. When they conjunct in the third house, especially around the 19th, like 18, 19, 20th, be careful. And if you're gonna speed on the road, then you're gonna get a ticket. Mars is Lord of your 10th house of authority and police and all of that. Mars is also military. Like be careful. Saturn is like those in a position of authority. So yeah, I can really see that for a lot of you, my dear Aquarius. And Hannah, if you're listening, you need to really take care of your your heavy foot, or like your lead foot. How did you say it in English? Otherwise, you're gonna have a ticket again. So I know she's gonna be listening. All right, that's funny. I really had to think of that. Yeah, it can be quite possible. But yeah, very good time for like writing something, blogging, launching a podcast, taking a course, studying something. Important conversations are going to be shaping your future, but be mindful of like impulsive speech and like being a little bit like heavy ram, just like butting heads. I would advise you not to do that. But definitely, words are going to create your reality, and words can open doors or close them. So yeah, be careful. Let me know what happens, and good luck. Also, Aquarius, with your ruler like at 29 degrees until the 26th of April, 25th if you live in the States. That is really like bringing things to a head. Yeah, let me know how you guys are feeling. I'm curious. Good luck, Aquarius. We have Pisces, Sun, Moon, or Rising. You are going to have this whole Aries Stellium activating your second house. The second house, and where the new moon also falls, of course, this is the house of money, self-worth, your values, a very big financial reset. But the reset is not only financially, it's also a very big reset in your self-worth. Yeah, a whole new like beginning of a new chapter around how you earn, how you like price yourself, how you spend, how you value yourself. The next 6 months are going to be a very major, big, like undergoing of like major developments going on in regards to that. The second house, Aries Stellium, it activates everything that is related to what you value, what you earn, how you earn, multiple streams of income. Money is a major key theme here. And with Mars in the second, you need to be careful not to spend impulsively. Mars can cut, sever ties and cause losses if you're being too impulsive. So be careful here. You can have an unexpected bill, you guys, and you're going to feel somehow blocked and reframed, especially around the 19th and the 20th. Mars, Saturn, Mercury are all going to be conjunct. So you either get like news where you feel very frustrated about something in regards to finances. Either you made like a very impulsive decision, or either someone else is like causing some kind of like misheap. Other than that, if you're being honest, responsible, and mature within your finances, then you can really start a new 2-year-long budgeting plan, or maybe a new stream of income that you're going to need to work on in the next 2 years that then can prove to be very profitable, but you're going to need to like put in hard work. So Mars really pushes you into action, but Saturn demands discipline and responsibility and honesty, and Neptune can create confusion, but also like idealization, especially with Neptune being your ruler. And Chiron actually tries to heal your wounds around self-worth. So do not let your bank account numbers do not let that depend your value and how you stand in your self-worth. Get real about your finances and how you actually undermine yourself with having self-worth issues. Maybe you need to set higher prices. Also, Mars, it has an implication on the 9th house because there is the sign of Scorpio, and the 9th house is about expansion, travel, self-beliefs, or like your belief system, truth, Also higher knowledge, philosophy, religion. So yeah, growth in the second, it actually is connected to like investing in yourself. The ninth house can be about education, traveling, new opportunities, publishing deals, writing a book. But with Saturn and Mars, you need to be very strategically. You cannot behave impulsively right now. You need to have wisdom. Mars belongs to the ninth house. The ninth house is the house of wisdom, and that gets injected right now into the second house of finances. Your ruler of the ninth is in the second. So you need to like zoom out, look at the bigger picture, have like the 40,000 foot view on things. Do not get too lost in the little details with Mercury there as well. Otherwise, you're going to go nuts a little bit. So, build something that lasts. If you're going to chase like quick wins, then you're going to burn out or get burned in some kind of way. And yeah, you can start a new income stream. You can also ask for a raise. You can change financial habits, or you might need to just simply start to invest more in yourself by having these new experiences that are going to upgrade your self-worth. Cut unnecessary expenses. Mars cuts sever ties with maybe things that are draining you, like certain subscriptions or certain things that are happening in the background that you maybe do not need anymore, because now you have more self-worth and you can let that go in some kind of way. If you buy something, keep the receipts. Mars, Saturn on top of each other, you can make a big purchase right now, and there can be like a flaw or something not working, or you're going to need to use your warranty in some kind of way. That is very possible here. So yeah, value yourself properly, and you're going to change with that accordingly and create some new long-term financial stability. And that is then going to be very, very beneficial for you. Good luck, my dear Pisces, and let me know how it works out. All right, you guys, that was it for today. Let me know if you gained some insights. If you did, please leave me a like, share this video with other astrology fans. Subscribe if you're not part of this tribe already. It all really helps me to grow this channel. And I am so grateful for your guys' support. I'm just like really happy that it's all growing so beautifully, and the massive support I always receive through the comments and the DMs, that always makes me feel so seen, heard, and appreciated. And it's really also fuel Mars to just like keep on going. Yeah, it is just like a very beautiful new start now that gets ignited. And I'm really wondering how it plays out for all of you guys. Massive fiery, feisty energy. Let's all tap into it in a healthy, conscious way, and we're gonna bear fruits from that if we're being able to do that just now. So thank you guys for being here, and I will be back soon with another video. Bye bye.